Hey you guys, so it's Rachel and I know I haven't made a video in like forever and I really wanted to start making some videos again. If I shuffle about, it's because I'm sat next to the fire and it's actually really hot. I decided I wanted to get back involved with the channel because I don't really know why. There just was a feeling that it was the right time to start engaging with the girls again, especially since I've been in New York seeing them, and I do miss it. I miss making videos. I miss being able to ramble at you all. I've reopened my blog, so that's been a big step in itself as well. So yeah, this just, all the timing just feels right, and I'm just kind of going with my gut instinct and I'm going with what I feel. I can't make any promises as to exactly how committed I can be to this. I just want to kind of go with the flow, and I've spoken to the girls and they seem to be understanding enough of that, which of course I'm really appreciative of, because one of the things the channel has always offered everybody is consistency, and that's something that I've lacked at times, which is why I've taken time out, which might sound quite black and white, but if I'm going to be making you videos, I would rather offer you a degree of that stability as opposed to not knowing when I'm going to be coming onto the camera and making videos. So as I said, I don't want to make any promises as to my commitment to this, but it is something that feels right now. And for me, it also feels like a creative outlet, and it's allowing me to continue to sort of dip my feet into mental health again, which is something I've taken a massive break from. I've not applied for my PhD, which has been a huge decision, and one that I'm absolutely terrified about because I wouldn't be able to apply until next December now, and that gives me 2 years of not knowing what direction I'm going to be going in. I've been focusing very much on my writing, and that's a decision that I took, and it's something that I discussed with many people, and it has felt like the right thing to do. Also, I have very much gone with the feel. I've taken the risks, and I'm fortunate enough to be in a situation whereby I can do that. And as I say, that's a massive risk for me, and it's something that does cause a great amount of anxiety at times. But the reward of giving myself the allowance to move forward with my dreams has been an enlightening one. And as difficult as some of this year has been, and as on edge of some of it's been so enlightening, and I have just learned so much about myself, and I feel like I've grown an incredible amount. And if I'm able to continue to make these videos on a weekly basis, I think you're also going to see that growth. I think you're also going to see the changes that have come from me, hopefully in a positive way. There's maybe negative elements to some of the way I've changed, but hopefully you're going to see the more positive sides to it, because obviously nobody's perfect, and there's things that I don't do right, and there's things that I do wrong, and of course I mess up, and of course I make bad choices and all the rest of it. I also am trying very much to learn from those things and trying not to fail with them. I want to just move because I'm absolutely boiling. Okay, here we go. We'll go around this side, okay. So this week we are going to be looking at this build up to Christmas, which of course for anybody with an eating disorder is a difficult time and a time of great worry. And I can imagine that those of you out there who are suffering, those of you who are in recovery, those of you who have even gone a couple of years in recovery with dealing with Christmas, it's still incredibly nerve-wracking. It can be nerve-wracking not just because of the obvious, the food issue. It's nerve-wracking because of the social side of it, this constant a degree of smothering for a lot of people, where people are around, people are in your space, people are in your house, you're going around to other people's homes, you might not feel up to it, you might feel low, you might feel like crap, you might want to not feel like you want to engage, you might be in a family situation where Christmas is awkward, whereby it's not necessarily completely celebrated, whereby it can cause a lot of lows for you because it isn't what maybe all the happy families are doing, which of course doesn't always exist, but there's kind of that two-way thing of it being a very intense period of time where everybody's about, it's very social, or there's that isolation side of it. And what I want to do is I want to try to, it's going to have to be off the top of my head because I've made no planning for this, but think about the aspects whereby maybe I struggled with regards to this huge socializing side to Christmas, and then maybe the side where people can feel very isolated, and how you can maybe engage yourself, or how you can maybe find ways to get through that period without an over focus on it, and without it being something that really brings you down. So maybe I should look at that first. So maybe I'm going to think about the isolation at Christmas if you're alone, if you're somebody who either lives alone, or if you're in a family which is quite disjointed, where Christmas can cause conflict, where I don't know, people who are perhaps even in hospital, and that's where they're ending up spending Christmas. And just kind of maybe think about what I want you to do is actually think about some of the things that you can occupy yourself with. And where I would start with that would be thinking of activities and making some planning. And I think that on both sides of that, I think planning is the key, and at least that's what has worked for me and for others I know, is to maybe set out those few days, because it's always that kind of day before Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and then it all kind of falls out, and then we have that big hype for New Year. And to think about ways in which you can occupy yourself, ways in which you can celebrate. And if you can't celebrate Christmas, if you can't be with family and friends, to celebrate you, to celebrate a period whereby other people may all be busy with things that you just do for yourself, that you have a structure which may not actually differ from what you're doing at any other time in the year. It doesn't have to be this huge big deal. It doesn't have to be this massive shift in a day. It can be just like any other day. So that would be my advice to you if you're in that situation, is to just take it one moment at a time. Maybe try to get some planning in it, structure your day like perhaps you have been anyway, and work on keeping yourself on a level so there's not the hype, and not letting yourself drop, so that you are you're in that moment, okay, and you're making shifts and changes and adaptations, but it isn't, don't put a load of not energy but focus into it. Don't let it dominate you. And if you're missing family and friends, if you are feeling isolated, there are ways for you to connect. There are things that you can do which you've been doing prior to that, so that doesn't have to change. If you want that day to just be like any other day in the year, you have the capacity and the power within you to allow that. Okay, so that's where I would go with that if I was in that situation. If you are in a position whereby you're going to be at home and you're going to be surrounded suddenly by family, you're going to have people in your house, you're going to have all of this kind of food around you, you're going to have meals. I mean, like, I'm recovered, and sometimes it stresses me out, this whole like formality of it all. And at my home, we try to keep it low key. There's just the four of us normally who are there for Christmas Day. we see friends come around, and we just try to keep it very low key and just see it as a time of celebration, to catch up with people, to appreciate your family, to appreciate your friends. It doesn't matter who you appreciate. You can appreciate your animals, you can appreciate anything. And that's what we try to do here. And of course, any degree of pressure with food, the formality of it, and sitting at a table perhaps is very, I mean, people do it in different ways. Not all families do that. That is something that we do. It's about the only time we use the main dining room. And try to maybe, rather than letting your head fall into this panic zone, to sit down and say, right, okay, what can I take from this? Put the food aside for now. What can I take from this? Right, I'm going to maybe see ... I'm going to see my goddaughter. I'm going to see my niece, my nephew. I have gifts that I enjoy to give, to share with my family and friends. I enjoy the chance to be able to sit with people, to be with people. And with food, I would plan. If you're in a situation whereby you feel comfortable enough with whoever you're spending Christmas with to sit and plan what you're having, that is going to save you so much anxiety. I used to literally plan those days out on what I felt I was capable of eating, because I didn't want to be sat at that table just freaking out, which I did anyway, but I wanted it to be more comfortable. Try to discuss with those around you, if you want the food around you to be limited, to kind of work with the people around you to, if you're prone to binging and purging, to have a distance from that amount of food, because there's probably going to be tons of food in the house. And to just work ways round, plan now, plan from now. I know it's like another week away, but plan now. Could have maybe been planning earlier. Think about what you can do. I always take space out. I do two things. I go around to my godchildren and give them their gifts. That gives me a bit more space. That gives me something that's mine. That's something that I own. It isn't something that the rest of my family come with. That gives me that time with them, and it's important time. And even if it's only an hour, that's something I do for me, and it gives me a huge amount of pleasure. And if I need time out, I just say, you know, I'm going to go and take some space. I'm going to go and do whatever. God, do something completely random. It doesn't matter. But do not feel guilty for taking time for yourself. And if people are making you feel guilty, you just need to say, this is what I need to do for me. And if you cannot deal with that, then I can't change that. But I need some time for me. And I'm going to be a better me. I'm going to be a better person to be around, an easier person to be around, if I can do what I feel I need to do. So that's my main advice with that. And I think I've probably talked about this in the past, but that's kind of a recap of some of the things that I used to do. And don't feel bad about saying no. If you are not up to doing something, you're not up to doing something. And you don't need to justify that. You can just simply say, I'm finding this time quite overwhelming. I just need a bit of space, and please, can you not take that personally? It's, you know, it's about what I need right now. So try to take my word on that. Try to believe that that isn't a selfish thing to do, that thinking about yourself during this period, and perhaps only yourself, isn't necessarily selfish, because if you're doing the things that feel right for you and okay for you, you're probably going to be an easier person in the company of others, and there's going to be less kind of conflict, there's going to be less stress, there's going to be less anxiety, and it can be a period you can enjoy. I'm going to have to wrap this up because I've gone on for a long time as always. If you have any questions, post them under here, under the video itself. My blog's open again, and also you can email me. I'll put my email up again, so if anybody wants to be emailing me, it's siajanewords@gmail.com. And take care of yourselves, and try to have a great time, okay? Okay guys, love you loads, bye.